The Deathwatch are a unique chapter of Adeptus Astartes that stand as a shield against the Xenos threats of the galaxy. Built from the ranks of other Marine chapters, the Deathwatch brings the best of every chapter together, combining their knowledge and skills to create the ultimate fighting force. I know what you might be thinking. This doesn't sound very Codex Astartes approved at all. And you'd be right. But Robote himself, upon his return, has agreed with the need for the Deathwatch, and is letting them have this one. With Necrons, Tau, and an oncoming wave of Tyranids, it's not hard to see why the Ultramarines Primarch would be down for a large number of Marines who specialise in taking on alien threats. As I've mentioned, the Deathwatch are made up of other chapters' Marines. They have no specific gene seed of their own, and do not recruit neophytes or fresh Marines into their ranks. Each Astartes that serves in the Deathwatch is a veteran of their own chapter, bringing with them knowledge and experience to build on the Deathwatch's already extensive collection. These Marines are sent as a kind of tithe, each chapter of Marines expected to send some of their best to serve, as part of an agreement that the Deathwatch are a necessary function. While some use this as an opportunity to get rid of troublesome or foolhardy battle brothers, for the most part, the Marines that are sent to the Deathwatch are experienced, open to learning, and share a complete hatred for Xenos. Typically, Marines that are sole survivors of their squads, or who blasted their way through countless Xenos to reach an evac point, are sent to serve, their chapter masters hoping that they may find solace or fresh brotherhood amongst a fraternity that shares in their zeal. For how long a Marine serves, that is completely variable. Some may only serve for a number of battles, others a number of centuries, the length of their vigil dependent on the needs of the fortress monastery they are sent to. Unlike with other Marine chapters, the Deathwatch do not have a single homeworld. Instead, they operate from numerous fortresses set in the cold of space. Each is managed by their own watchmasters, and none know the full breadth of their numbers. Even the Inquisition, who the Deathwatch work closely with on occasion, neither know the true scale of the Deathwatch or have command over them. Although it is thought by many of the Ordo Xenos that should all of the Deathwatch be united together, they would greatly outnumber any other Marine chapter manyfold. It's not just their organisation structure that's unique to the Deathwatch, with their squad compositions completely throwing the Codex Astartes out of the window. Rather than deploying squads of uniform purpose, such as a squad of plasma-toting Hellblasters or heavily armoured aggressors, the Deathwatch deploys specialised kill teams. These kill teams can vary in armour type, weapons, and even in ammo carried. You could have a squad of an aggressor, a tactical marine, a reaver, and a hellblaster, all led up by an assault marine with a cracking power blade. In a normal, large-scale battle, this would be insane, but for these kill teams, the variance in capabilities makes sense. Rather than deploy in large numbers, the Deathwatch instead act as a precise scalpel. Whilst there are so many of them, the area of space that the Deathwatch hope to cover is the entire galaxy, and so they can't rely on numbers and battles of attrition. Instead, the Deathwatch focus on precision strikes, sending in their kill teams to take out Xenos leaders or destroy bases of power. They are the spear tip of the Imperium's fight against the threats they face from without, striking at the heart of the issue and allowing the grand war engine of the Astra Militarum to handle the remaining stragglers. Not only do they fight off invaders from Imperial space, the Deathwatch act as more than just defenders. Referred to by some as the shield that strikes, these Xenos hunters track down and strike at alien threats on their own turf, taking offence that some Xenos would dare lay claim to any world as their own. They bring the Emperor's judgment down upon these foolish Xenos, and that judgment comes down hard. The shared hatred for Xenos amongst the ranks of the Deathwatch only serving to excite the battle fury they bring to the enemies of mankind. Of course, all of these advantages come with some early difficulties. Throwing all of these different chapters and gene seeds together requires more than faith to bind them to a common cause. Old chapter rivalries, differing tactics, and forbidden secrets make for friction between fresh recruits. You've got to remember, each of these Marines have already proven that they're the best of the best that their chapter has when it comes to alien hunting. And whilst they shall know no fear, Marines aren't exactly immune to pride. Each of these veterans has to learn to get along with their fellow Astartes, taking to the new status quo of the Deathwatch. It doesn't matter if you were a lieutenant, a captain, or heck, one of the missing Primarchs. When you join the Deathwatch, you start again at the bottom of the ladder. The only achievements and honours that matter are the ones that you earn here. Busting all these recruits down to size and throwing them into the boiling pot of battle is often enough to get these different Marines working alongside one another. Differences are put aside as they come to see the true goal: defeating the Xenos threat. Once overcome, this issue turns to an advantage. Each chapter brings something new to the table, whether it's the tactics of the Ultramarines, the stealth of the Raven Guard, or the savage ferocity of the Space Wolves. These build on one another, and the Marines come to learn the trick of the trade from their adopted brethren. This means that, for a part, the Deathwatch benefits from all the quirks of all the many chapters' gene seeds, and also allows those who serve their time to return to their chapter with a new mindset and perhaps some fresh ideas. This isn't to say that everything is shared. Many chapters still have their secrets to keep. No one's turning up and explaining the Death Company on day one, and you'd better believe that the Dark Angels that are sent stay true to their vows of secrecy. Some things just aren't for sharing outside of the blood of your Primarch. Out of all of the Deathwatch kill teams, arguably one of the most famous was Kill Team Cassius. An Inquisitor of the Ordo Xenos had gone missing on Gosar Quintus, investigating a religious deviancy reported on the planet. His initial findings had spoken of a four-armed emperor and potential alien worship. These were the only findings reported, however, as the Inquisitor soon vanished. The Ordo Xenos turned to the Deathwatch for aid in this matter, and the Deathwatch in turn sent Chaplain Cassius and his squad to investigate. When half of his squad went missing after being sent to recover the Inquisitor, Cassius went full Ocean's 11 and assembled a team with a little bit of everything. Choosing to ask for forgiveness rather than permission, the Chaplain assembled his team made up of Marines from all the founding chapters, and descended into the mines of Gosar Quintus. From his past as an Ultramarine, Cassius had some suspicions that Gene Stealers could be involved here somehow, recognizing some hallmark traits from his time fighting the Tyranids amongst the Sons of Guilliman. Kill Team Cassius were horrified with what they found, discovering the first documented Gene Stealer cult. In place of the Tyranids and sun-starved miners they had expected, they found hybrids, abominations of human and Tyranid gene. This horror truly set in after they had cleansed the mine and defeated the cult's patriarch, finding the Inquisitor's evidence that this was one of many such cults, moving from planet to planet in this sickening cycle. The Deathwatch had discovered a new enemy, and another war against the Xenos had begun. The Deathwatch are a really cool faction in my opinion, and allow you to try out different colour schemes or units in an interesting and lore-friendly way. Their spread out and uncounted number as well leaves plenty of scope for you to create your own watch fortress and surrounding lore. I can imagine we'll be seeing much more of these alien hunters in the coming months as the narrative of 40k 10th edition unfolds, the Tyranids taking the stage as the big bad of the edition. We'll cover the Deathwatch and their fancy specialised war gear in a future video, but for now, we'll be leaving the shield that slays here. If you know any cool Deathwatch lore, or if you've got anything you'd want to see covered on the channel, let me know in the comments below. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us to continue what we're doing. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.